class. My name is Terrence Hayes, and today I'm here to give you my persuasive speech on why I think ethanol-based fuels are the future. Ethanol-based fuels are the future of internal combustion engines due to the fact that they create less greenhouse emissions. The three main points that I'm going to talk to you about are how ethanol is made, why ethanol is better for the environment, and how original equipment manufacturers are switching to flex fuel vehicles. So to start you off with my first main point, according to bioenergycenter.org, ethanol is a grain alcohol that's sourced from any type of starch, usually corn. That's where most ethanol comes from. So they take these corn kernels and they actually grind them into this dust. Then they mix them with water. Once it's mixed with water, this mixture is called mash, and from this point they add enzymes to it that begin to break down the starches in the corn. So once this mash is mixed with these enzymes that break down the starch within them, they add more chemicals that break down the starch even more. Then they heat this up, and these vapors come off of it, which have ethanol and carbon dioxide in them, and they catch these vapors and collect them and cool them down, and that's what creates the ethanol once they cool down this vapor that comes off of it. My second main point is going to be why ethanol is better for the environment. We should all be using ethanol as a fuel. Ethanol is a renewable resource, obviously, since we can just grow more corn and mix it with these enzymes and just create more fuel for our vehicles. It's non-toxic and biodegradable, which is obviously a good thing. If you spill ethanol on the floor, then it's not a big deal like it is gasoline, because it'll just break down into the simple parts that make it up. If you spill something such as gasoline on the ground, there's a potential for it to seep down into our water supply if there's enough gasoline spilled, and then you'd essentially be drinking gasoline. But you wouldn't have to worry about this with ethanol. For example, I'm sure you guys have heard of the Exxon oil spill. If this tanker were to have leaked a lot of ethanol fuel into the ocean, it wouldn't have been nearly as big a deal, because all of this would just break down into the water within a matter of a day or two, and they would just biodegrade over time. It wouldn't have ruined all these natural habitats for all these animals and wasted millions of dollars trying to clean it up. Ethanol and ethanol mixes such as E85 also burn cleaner than your typical gasoline. What I mean by burn cleaner is that it produces less smog and just all of the chemicals that create greenhouse gases pretty much. Recently, actually, the president worked on lifting a ban on E15, which is a fuel blend that is 15% ethanol and 85% gasoline. So we're going to start seeing that at more of our pumps now, which is good for farmers because they're going to be making more money by making more corn and crops and make more jobs for everybody and things of the sort, which makes them happy and creates jobs, as stated. And my third main point is going to be that many manufacturers are starting to switch to flex fuel vehicles, which are vehicles that can perform with gasoline or ethanol and any mix in between 0% gasoline or ethanol. The only downside to ethanol is that your miles per gallon go down, your MPGs. They go down, but the performance of your vehicle goes up, and you can feel like a better person knowing that you're not polluting the environment as much. Also, as a fun fact, Henry Ford's first car, the Model T, I'm sure you've heard of, was actually designed to be able to run on multiple different types of fuel, such as ethanol, which it did. So in conclusion, I talked to you about how ethanol is made, that vehicles that run on ethanol produce less smog and greenhouse gases, and that many manufacturers are starting to switch to producing flex fuel vehicles. And that's it.